Hey guys, how's it going? It is TheLegoBro here. Welcome back to another Lego Ninjago video. So since all of Cbound is out, in this video I'm going to stop and rank all 5 Wild Brand seasons. So let's get started. Before the video begins, I also want to mention that I am including the island in this ranking. I know a lot of people don't consider it Season 14 or a season of Ninjago, but I definitely do because it still does have 4 episodes, so there is still a decent amount of content in the season. But let's get started with 5th place. Alright, so coming in at 5th place, we do actually have the island, which should be really expected at this point. You guys know how much I do not like the season, and just in the Ninjago community, it definitely did not get a lot of love, and I know a lot of people do not like the season. I think the 4-episode format of the season definitely doesn't work. It definitely drags the whole season down, makes the whole season way too rushed and crammed, and they had too much information to fit into only 4 episodes. I think the season would have been like a million times better if it had 16 episodes, because I think the content and everything is cool. I like the whole idea of the island. It's just you can't fit it into only 4 episodes. Even if it was like 8 episodes or 10 or something, just like to make it a little bit longer would be so much better. But yeah, the season really does suck. The only actually good thing about the season would be that the animation is really great in this season. But let's move on to number 4. Alright, so coming up next we have Secrets of Forbidden Spinjitsu, which shouldn't be much of a shocker either. The Ninjago community also doesn't like the season, and they have a good reason not to. The whole season was jam-packed with tons and tons of filler episodes, which made the season really boring and not enjoyable. It's also Wild Brand's first Ninjago season that they've ever animated, so a lot of the characters look stiff and it really didn't look that great yet. And then we have the villains of the season. Asphyra was terrible. I'm not going to play the revenge meme because I do it too much, but still. Asphyra was just such a terrible villain. I hate her so much. No character development, and she was just so awful. Zane as the Ice Emperor was pretty good. I actually kind of did enjoy it. The only thing is he didn't have enough character development, so it made him to be kind of a boring character. But yeah, most of the season is pretty bad. If I had to choose a favorite part, I would probably say the flashbacks with Wu and Garmadon. I really actually did enjoy watching that. I thought it was really fun to see Wu and Garmadon as kids, and I just love seeing that part. But yeah, there's not really much good to say about the season. Most of the season is pretty bad. Honestly, I think the Ice chapter isn't too bad. Like, I like the Ice chapter a lot better than the Fire chapter. I love the Never Realm and Cole's relationship with Krog, or whatever that abominable snowman's name is. And I just think that the Ice chapter was way more enjoyable to watch than the Fire chapter, but the actual season overall wasn't the best. So let's move on to place number 3. Before we continue, I just want to say that every season from this point on is a good Ninjago season. None of these seasons are bad, so let's continue with place number 3. Alright, so in 3rd place is Master of the Mountain, and this actually will probably surprise a lot of you guys because I know a lot of people love this season so much, and it's like one of their favorite Wild Brand seasons. For me, I like it, it's just not right at the top. Giving Cole his own season was such a good idea. I really love having Cole be the focus character of this season, and then everything with all the flashbacks with his mom and everything was so great. I also loved Shintaro. I thought it was such a cool place. The whole underground thing with all the mines and everything was so cool. And I feel like this season was also really good at giving every character their own time to shine in the season. Yes, it is a Cole season, but they still focused on every character and they didn't throw any characters to the back burner, and I'm really glad that they did that. I also really love that trio that was underground, that ninja guy, the wizard guy, and the barbarian guy. That was so awesome. They were such cool characters, and I really want them to come back to Ninjago. That was so cool. One bad thing about the season would have to be the Skull Sorcerer. I'm really not a big fan of this villain. I feel like they just took this random guy and called him a villain. They didn't give him character development or anything. And that's a bit of an issue for me, so that's probably the only bad thing about the season. One minor thing that they added to the season that made it so good was the music. I'm gonna play it right here, it's so awesome. Oh yeah, that music just makes the season so awesome and epic, and I love it so much. But let's move on to place number 2. Alright, so in 2nd place we have Prime Empire, which is such a phenomenal season. Alright, so if you guys didn't know, Jay is my favorite ninja, and he is also the focus of the season, which makes the season even that much better. The whole idea of the season is great. The ninja going into a video game. Like, honestly, have you guys never thought about that when you were a kid, going into a video game? Like, oh, it's just so cool to see it in Ninjago. The whole season is very fun and enjoyable, and you always want to keep watching and see what's going to happen next. When I heard that the season was coming out, I was kind of thinking that it was going to be similar to Rebooted, and I was like, oh, another Rebooted season. But no, this is nothing like Rebooted. It is totally different and totally better. I feel like the Wild Brain animation style really works for the season because they are in a video game, so all the effects and everything look super video game-ish, and it works so great. Okino was also a really cool character. I did like him. I really liked his personality and everything about him, and they just did a really good job with that character. In terms of the villain, Unagami was okay. He wasn't the best and he wasn't the worst. I feel like they developed him really well, having his backstory where he feels abandoned by his maker. His backstory was really interesting and really cool. I just feel like he's not really cool, or he doesn't really stick out to me. He's not really that interesting in my opinion. I think his backstory is interesting and they did a good job with him. It's just he's not my favorite character, if you know what I mean. I think like Pythor, Garmadon more, they're cooler characters, but Unagami is still pretty decent. One bad thing that they did with the season is they pushed off Zane and Pixel to the side, and they were barely in it. They were in a few episodes, maybe like 5 or something. They weren't in most of the season. They didn't even go into Prime Empire. But honestly, I'm okay with that because I'm not the biggest fan of those characters. They're decent, but I like a lot of the other ninjas better. But yeah, Prime Empire is such a good season, and let's move on to first place. Alright, so in first place we have Cbound, which is pretty obvious. This season is so fantastic. I love this season so flippin' much. Everything in the season is awesome, whether it's the character development, story arc, visuals, how cool the season is. It's just all fantastic. Giving Nia her own season was such a great idea. I don't think they could have done this any better. She had so much time to shine in the season, and then her sacrifice at the end, and it was just all so great. I really loved Merlopia, the whole underwater theme. It was so cool, and I really love to see underwater in Ninjago. I'm just so glad that they finally did an underwater season. They also added some great characters in the season, such as Prince Calamar. He was a really cool villain. Or Benthamar, Prince Calamar's stepbrother. He was such a great character. I really felt for him, and he was just a really well done character. I also loved when Prince Calamar and all the Merlopian people went up to the surface and Wojira came in and they flooded the whole place. The finale was flippin' awesome. This season was extremely well done. I can't believe how great it actually turned out. It was such a well done season. I don't know how they're going to top this, honestly. I'm not sure. Maybe they will next season. Maybe they won't. I'm honestly not sure. I don't think they can. I think it's too good to top. But anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. Share your thoughts on this video in the comments down below. And I will see you guys on the next video. Peace out.